Hi, we're Quench and Curious Volumes. My name is James. It's Friday, so I'm going to do my Friday Reads report. Tell you what I've read this week. You may know that it is the beginning of May, well, it's about halfway through May. But May is Horror Mayhem. That's an event where people will read horror stories and novels and etc. So I have been rereading a bunch of Poe short stories in this gigantic reprint of Tales of Mystery and Imagination, illustrated by Harry Clark. I showed this last week. It's a large, square, very nicely printed volume with lots of creepy, stylized illustrations in it. This is from the Telltale Heart. And, you know, a lot of these were rereads, and a lot of them were first-time reads for me. Some of the more obscure, less anthologized stories I had not read before. Things like The Mystery of Marie Roget, a very long detective story, or Landor's Cottage, which is basically a 10-page description of a valley in upstate New York. So that was pretty fun. Some of them are just like strange little vignettes, like Bon Bon, about a pastry chef who imagines himself a philosopher and has a debate with Satan one night. Weird things, but anyway, I enjoy Poe, so that was a lot of fun to revisit some of these. I still think he's at his best in a shorter story, something up to 10 pages, things along the line of The Telltale Heart, The Cask of Amontillado, The Raven, where he can compress it and sort of maintain that air of menace and mystery is when he's at his best, in my opinion. So, having finished that, I've moved on to The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, which I've been talking about reading since my very first video. So here I am reading it. It's not very long. I'm only a little bit of a way into it. I've read the prologue in the first couple of chapters. So it's a governess presumably it's in England, and she's been hired by a mysterious man to come and take care of the raising of two children who are not this man's parents, and he's going to pay her very well, but he doesn't want her to ever ask him any questions or tell him anything about what's going on. Pretty strange stuff. I mean, of course, if you read Victorian fiction, the governess plot is pretty common. There's governesses all over the place. So that setup is kind of familiar. But the here's her job. Don't tell me anything about what's going on. That's pretty weird. And then it seems that she gets there. The brother of the two children, there's a brother and sister. The brother is still at school, and he's being sent home. And apparently he's been having some behavioral issues, as they would say these days. So that's about where I am. I'll probably finish it tomorrow or something, and then I think I'm going to read Stephen King. I've never read a Stephen King. I've got Carrie out on the Libby app, so I have it on my Kindle for the next week or so. So I'm gonna give that a read and finally get on board with the rest of American civilization and know what it's like to read a Stephen King novel. I have seen the movie. It's a good movie, so we'll see if it's better than the book. A lot of people seem to love Stephen King. A lot of people also do not love Stephen King. So there you go. Gonna give that a chance. Um, and that is my reading and bookish report for this week. Um, I know a lot of people have been talking about Kindles on BookTube, and I wanted to talk about my Kindle. I've had another Kindle, but I didn't take. I never used it much. I do have this Paperwhite in a Van Gogh fake Chinese, I mean fake Japanese uh, cover, but I paid a few dollars to have the ads taken off of it at some point. I really like the Paperwhite. My main complaint of it lately is it seems not to be holding the charge, and I think that maybe the cover. This is something that I've read, that the cover will sometimes keep it from going to sleep. Although it always seems to have the screensaver page on when I open it up, so I'm not really sure what's going on with that. It's relatively minor, just as long as I every couple of days come and plug it in to charge it up. It is disappointing to settle down to have a good long read and have the battery be dead, which has happened to me a couple of times in the last few months, since I started having this battery issue. But I've had it for a while. It's not my main reading uh, mode. I mostly like to read hard copy in paper, but as a lot of people have said, you can't beat the convenience of getting something instantly on it, being able to change the font size, having to keep track of your where you are. I find that it's not. These are my minor issues with it. The things I I don't like so much is it just doesn't. It's not as crisp to look at. I can make the text very large, but it seems. It always feels like It's like slightly blurry. Maybe I just need new eyeglasses or something like that. It's also kind of slow. I will, you tap on the screen, and it just seems to take longer than I want it to get me where I'm going. Um, I don't know. That's pretty minor. One thing that I read this week about Kindles and the Amazon Kindle ecosystem is that if you pay for a book, right? When you buy a new Kindle book, and this is something that I've talked about before. I think it's ridiculous how much it costs to get a new release Kindle book is like $15, and or you can get it from your library through Libby or Overcast or something like that, and but the library, of course, doesn't just pay for it one time and then send it to however many people want. The library has to pay a lot of money for it, in the hundreds of dollars for a new title that is popular, and then there will be a limit on how many times it can be lent out before the library is charged again. So sometimes you'll see, a title that will be available in Libby, and then it will become unavailable in Libby. Where are you going, babe? All right, Weezy's getting out of here. Eh, and it's because just their number of leases is up, or their time is up. It As I said, it costs in the hundreds of dollars for the library to have those books. So, bear that in mind when you think that you're getting free books from the library. The library is paying, and paying quite a bit for them. Um, so just know that, I suppose. I don't know. Pay your taxes to support the library. Don't complain. I don't know. So that's what I have this week. Next week I'll come back. I'll tell you about the turn of the screw and Carrie and whatever else is going on. I think I said last week I'm going to probably participate in the summer of sport, because I've got a couple of sporting books stacked up. Everyone's been talking about reading westerns in the month of June for the June on the Range event. I've got a couple of westerns on my Kindle. There's a couple on, if you have Kindle Unlimited, that are available for free. There's some uh, Zane Grey. There's some Louis L'Amour. There's some C.J. Box, who's a contemporary Western writer. If you have a recommendation for any of these writers, and in particular any of the ones that I could get for free in Kindle Unlimited, since I'm already sending money to Amazon, let me know if any of those are particularly good. I mean, the word is that Gray and L'Amour are pretty consistent. If you like what they do, they tend to do it pretty reliably. So, maybe I could just pick one and just have at it. I may just do that anyway. So that's what I've got. Let me know what you think about Zane Grey, Louis L'Amour, C.J. Box, etc. And I will talk to you later. Thanks for watching.